Hit the button in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to another Pirate National Committee meeting. Thank you for being patient with us while we took a bit of a break over the holidays. We thought it would be best for everyone since we already do these on a weekly basis. I am Anthony J. from Indiana. I am the chair of the Pirate National Committee. Who would like to introduce themselves first? I will go with Mitch.
Hello, I am Mitch DeVillo, proudly representing the Chicagoland and the Illinois Pirate Party. I apologize for my disheveled look. I'm COVID positive, actually, so trying to catch up on sleep. But I'm also the Storm Care Manager of the United States Pirate Party, and no virus to keep me from those duties.
We appreciate that, Mitch, though please also take care of yourself.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Dang. Wow.
I didn't have COVID, but I mean, shoot, one of the meetings that we didn't have before we decided to actually call a break, I think I was sick, and that's why I was bragging. So no, your sacrifice is greatly appreciated.
Well, thanks. Luckily, it was. I'm a few days into this, so if this meeting was a few days ago, Illinois would not be here.
Fair enough. Joe, you're next on the chopping block.
I like how you put that. So that being said, Joseph Honorowski from Massachusetts, and I am currently the treasurer, and I am also occasionally popping on the national level. Yay. That being said, happy to be here, and I hope you feel better, Mitch.
All right, next is Drew Bingaman of Pennsylvania.
Well, now I don't got anything left to say, except that, speaking of chopping block, I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately again, because I got a cheap deal for it on my PlayStation, so I've been spending a lot of hours since Christmas playing Skyrim, and that reminds me of the chopping block, because that's how the game starts, if anybody's played it. But yes, I'm Drew Bingaman, the chair/captain of the Pennsylvania party, and I don't worry about looking disheveled or not, because pirates should look disheveled anyways, because we're on a damn ship too much. So there it is. No respectability politics from me.
All right, thank you, Drew. The only thing I know about Skyrim is that I guess you can be a werewolf in it or something, because 12-year-old me was very enthralled with that idea, but he never got around to playing it. So he just has this idea in his mind of, yo, that's a cool mechanic, that's a cool idea, and he never acted on it. So
there are werewolf. You can become a werewolf. You can become a vampire. There's a whole other bunch of stuff you can do. You can get married and have kids if you want.
Get a house.
And there's several houses that you can buy and decorate and to keep all your crap in. So yeah, it's fun.
All your cheese wheels, Drew. All your cheese wheels.
You know, I never play with survival on, so I usually leave them alone.
All right, Yari.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Yari. Rose Klein. Representative of California. Very happy to be here. And I have not been playing Skyrim recently. I did discover through some very strange Game of the Year lists the fantastic game Vampire Survivors, which is also on phones now for free and very good. So you're welcome, anyone watching, for your new obsession. It is a horrible, wonderful game. There you go. Congrats. Not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored.
Thank you for that, Yari. The only game I saw on
legit game reviews.
Yeah. we could do that. We could do that. The game I really want to play. Hold on, I want to check the title real quick. Yes, Neon White. That's a platformer.
Yeah, the speedrun game.
Bizarre, wacky thing. Some people said that's their favorite game of the year. It looks right up my alley, so I want to play it.
if you want to play something that is horribly addictive and yet really hard, you can go with Getting Over It.
Those are two very different genres, but yeah.
It gets very hard and frustrating and really frustrating when you make it over something and then oh no, I flipped the mouse the wrong way and I just fell down, my last 3 hours of progress.
Yeah, my friend Eli has been playing it on he's been streaming it on Discord every once in a while when some of my friends and I have been in call, and he's been having a good time, but that hasn't been without some setbacks every now and then.
Always gnashing of teeth in that game.
Shout out to Eli, by the way. Anyway, we should probably actually do our stuff. That would be beneficial.
Reports. Yeah.
Reports. Has the IT committee done anything since our last meeting that we need to be aware of?
That's an excellent question. I haven't talked with Jamie, which would have been ideal. I don't know, Joe, if you have. So I'll be honest and say I don't know.
I talked to him earlier today. He didn't share with me any reports. I think he was mainly focused on the holidays, and I'm sure that you and Jamie will be able to connect real soon again.
Actually, hang on. There's a thing on the Discord, so I can just look at this really quick. Jamie updated plugins on WordPress and updated the database and updated to the latest website theme. So basically working on the website and updating plugins on that. So some website maintenance. I know that we were looking into getting some help from volunteers with updating the visual aspects of the website a bunch. So hopefully there'll be some movement on that soon.
Excellent. I know Platform Committee has actually had a meeting. Joe, Mitch, want to update anyone on that?
Mitch, if you would feel so kind.
Absolutely. So I did host the meeting. Unfortunately, work ended up getting in the way about 15 minutes into it, so I wasn't able to stick for the duration of it. But I believe it was just gun law was the top conversation. I think it's this is an old rehashing argument. A lot of pirates tend to be our most varied point, which I think is why it's probably best to find common ground on it. Even though I think most of us, are I'm not even gonna. I don't want to start putting words in mouths of people. I think that most of us will agree on most stances when it comes to guns, with some pushback. But we're going to find that out in the coming weeks as we hash this out. And if we can get a proper platform for the Nationals to approve, hopefully we can get that as soon as possible. Joe, if you did want to add anything, I know that that's kind of a non-answer. But
no, it's a perfect not answer because I don't think we've fully hashed it out. And I think that there's a lot of gray areas that we need to make sure we fine-tune. One of the things I will say is that we do believe in responsible use, but where do we define that? So, I mean, we still have more work on that front. And it's a hot topic across the nation right now. So, it's one that we should tread carefully on.
Drew, you wanted to input something on that topic.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say for some historical standpoint on it, that when the Constitution and the Second Amendment was written, it was legal and a regular practice that the most effective weapon of war could be and was regularly owned by civilians, which was the warship. So, especially being pirates, that's how pirates could pursue their trade was a lack of arms control. So I'm kind of a pretty wide open. I don't go the nuclear route there. That's a weapon of mass destruction. That's a different story. But when it comes to small arms, I don't think that there should be any extra restrictions on civilian ownership if you are not a felon. So that's where I'm at with it.
Thank you, Drew. Yari, before you jump in, and before Mitch jumps in, I like the gun discussion. It's one of my favorite things we do. We do not have time to have it here in call. So if anyone wants to continue to contribute to it, let's use the platform committee chat in the Discord. That goes for anyone listening. Post something in the platform committee chat in the Discord. That's the best place to do it. I will let maybe Yari say a piece and Mitch say a piece if they want, and that's what they want to say. But I feel as it is my responsibility to make sure that we don't actually.
No, you're so valid. That's a good idea.
It will take it would
hours.
take 3 hours.
Hours.
Yeah. So Yari, I'll let you have a piece, and then I'll let Mitch have a piece, and then we need to move on.
I think that's. I think you have the right idea of it, AJ. Is I think most of what I'm going to say right now. I think that's all I really should say. I think I don't want to. Yeah. Nope. That's it. Okay. You're right. Let's have this discussion in platform. It's an easy discussion to get sucked into.
Mitch.
I'm not a firearm owner myself, but I throw $5 a month to the Socialist Rifle Association for the job, like good job. You're not the NRA. You're doing good things. That being said, responsibility is the big one. Licensure is a big one. I'm just a big guild guy. I'm gonna gush over the guild system again, but Jesus Christ, I just feel like that might be the answer to a few things. And gun licensure through gun owners that can train people and give licenses. It's just certain things are out there, and I just think we should be talking about them. But let's move on to different things. I don't want to linger. Not yet.
Thank you two so much for understanding and not dragging us into a 4-hour conversation. Next is Outreach, which Outreach didn't really do too much over break. I believe the one thing that maybe we should have put here or put on the agenda is the continuing discussion over social media guidelines. I don't know if I want to talk about this right now because I know Kentucky would like to talk about that because they're from against, and we don't have a Kentucky representative here, and that feels unfair. But what I will say is I believe the only thing that has happened since the last meeting on that is that the ones Mitch originally wrote up a couple of years ago have resurfaced, so that will naturally be the crux of the conversation going forward since we actually have guidelines. We should probably... I'll pull those up some point during the meeting so we can actually post them and, keep that in the loop. But that's probably the only update that has happened on that since our last meeting. Other than that, I mean, other outreach activities would be good. Us actually doing things would be good. So if you have any suggestions for what we need to tackle the first quarter of the new year, throw it my way. Other than that, I believe we're done with outreach. Any questions on committee reports before we move into actual officer reports? Joe.
Just on the outreach aspect, if we could do like a Pirates news blast to go across all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, everything, saying, "Hey, it's a new year. We're the Pirates of 2023, and we're here to really start turning some heads and just get that blast out there." I would appreciate something, even if it's a quick blurb. Just
You're 100% right. We absolutely do need to do that. And that reminds me, please, if you haven't, check out our last few tweets because they've been doing good and I'm proud of them. And that trans rights tweet really blew up. It got us like 12,000 likes and like 100 new followers. So and I think like 1,000. So the Twitter's popping off. If you have any ideas for cute little Twitter graphics, also send those my way. Mitch.
Just a suggestion, Joe. It just popped into my head, and I was trying to think of ways to implement more YouTube revenue, more eyes on us. If anyone does want to implement like a little weekly Pirate News blog post on the website, I would be more than happy to voice that over and do like public domain photos in relation to like whatever topic it is, and upload like a 2-minute long YouTube of our blog post or whatever to the YouTube just to gain more content. If or you know, and I could throw that to approval to make sure it's good enough, or just give you an idea of what I'm talking about. But if this sounds like something that we want to do, if someone's willing to write up like a weekly pirate post, or if, hear me out, and I'm sorry to interrupt the people who have their hands up, if all state members wrote up a weekly, you know, pirate viewpoint of the current events, that might be a cool thing to write about. But go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, make it a minute, YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Now we're tossing it to Joe.
Actually, we already do that in Massachusetts, and I know a couple other chapters may possibly do that as well. What if we took the individual state ones and just uploaded it again to the national committee? And copy-paste? Would that work?
I think it would. I mean, I think actually...
The direct response...
Yeah, I think cross-posting, at least like the Pirate News, the Massachusetts does, the national site could be good. Yuri, what were you going to say?
Direct response to that really quick. That was done for a while, and then it stopped. So just a note, Joe, if we need more people at Massachusetts who post that news trained on website stuff, I'm happy to do that. I'm sure Jamie would also be happy to do that, if we can just make sure that that pipeline is clear.
I think one of the reasons why we were trying to slow it down on that front is because we want everybody to be posting it, not just Massachusetts news.
I want more things on the website, so the more Massachusetts news is up there, the more other people will be pressured to write stuff.
All right, awesome. It will be done.
Post.
Okay.
Sorry, Drew.
So this is something that we've tried. It's a lot of, let me put it this way. For me, it's a lot of work, because it's, I was breaking down, we were doing like a 1-hour podcast type show here on Jitsi and putting it to YouTube. And then I was downloading the YouTube and cutting it up into 1-minute blurbs and putting on my TikTok. I got a lot of good responses and a lot of views. I got way more views than I got from YouTube. I mean, it's because I have like 1,000, 1,300 followers on TikTok, where YouTube, we don't really have that many. So it definitely gets it out there better. What I think I would like to propose is, as we were talking before about live streaming, what if we just put together a weekly pirate podcast type show, like where we just talk about current events? It would need somebody to really take the reins of. I don't mind being a guest, but I don't necessarily want to be the host of it and run it all the time. Or I think maybe if we could rotate out something like that, I think it would be great to be able to mine that kind of thing and have one place we can all contribute. All the states can contribute to that. But it's a lot of work on one state that may only have a couple of volunteers that we're already pushing for stuff. So maybe if we collectively do that, it might be a little bit easier and will happen more on a regular basis.
I believe California is next.
I like that idea a lot. And now I'm obsessed with that idea. I think skip me. Go to Mitch.
Before we go to Mitch, I will say that in general, I do think this is something we should toss to one of the 3 outreach adjacent committees we now have. Not that anyone is making either of those other 2 anything more than temporary things that come up every once in a while. But, in general, I do think we have people for this if we mobilize them, just like with the Twitch streaming. That's all I want to add. Mitch?
Excuse me.
Yari.
I do want to say a counterpoint to that. If we can come up with a plan relatively quickly today, like I think committee meetings are great, but if we can come up with a plan today, right now, relatively quickly, I think we should just do that, especially if it's an action plan that's reasonable. I get that we're like the larger decision making body, but yeah. That's my hot take. In terms of that, I think Drew's point about a rotating podcast host would be is well made. I think asking for volunteers is not a bad idea. I think we've had a lot of people in the, AJ, your point about folks who work in outreach adjacent committees is also well made. That we've had a lot of people in there who have been very enthusiastic about doing live streams and stuff like that. So there's a fair number of people there who have that energy and who are up for doing something like this. Mostly I've seen it around gaming stuff, but I think something like this would not go amiss either. Either way, and I think Drew, to your point, a weekly podcast is easier to edit and put out than cutting down an hour or two's worth of content to 1 minute of content. Though, to Mitch's point, it is also definitely possible if someone is already writing a short weekly summary blurb to voice over that and do a 1 minute version of that. So I think either way, yeah.
Before I toss it to Drew, then Joe, then Mitch, I believe is the order. I do just want to say that I want for us to be vigilant to make sure that this doesn't just turn into another similar separate draft that isn't different enough to distinguish from all of the other drafts we've handed the outreach committee or like volunteers for. Like writing things for the website or making blurbs or like TikTok and YouTube shorts or like Twitch and all this other stuff we want to get going. I want us to make sure that if we toss something else to outreach volunteers, that it is different enough from all of the other stuff that is currently in R&D, or that it's an improvement of one of those things, or we can swap it out so we just don't keep sort of tossing the same thing to them. Do you know what I mean? That's just something I want to be careful that we keep in mind. Drew.
Yeah, so what I would say about the like doing a podcast and is I think if we create something like a podcast, just to take it straight to YouTube, like it's a live stream, just do a live stream with topics, however, and the topics that I would think would be like, let's do the week's current events, like what's happening now, and how does that from a pirate perspective, from like, what does that mean to us as pirates, that sort of perspective. Give that perspective. If we can give our perspective rather than just a generic talking about our platform or things like that, that's what I would envision that for. And because it would be an organic type of a conversation, that's where I think you can mine out some really good stuff to put in a 1 minute or even a 3 minute. Even a 3 minute TikTok at this point, you can get, still get a lot of views on that. So what I would envision is something where we have people that will be on. Somebody would take the reins as the host, and somebody else would be more or less responsible for, doing the mining afterwards and pulling those and throwing them on TikTok or whatever. I just don't want to put it on one person, because if we put it on one person, we're going to burn somebody out.
I agree with that. Joe, I believe you're next.
I would say we shouldn't delegate this. We should just go ahead, assign somebody to it, get the whole process started, and then pass it off accordingly. I think figuring out a volunteer, even putting it to a vote as to who has to deal with it, doesn't really matter to me. But if we just get it started like we did with other positions and then pass it off as another council member, it would be a thing.
I agree with that, though before tossing it to Mitch, I do just want to stress again, I feel like starting something to start something when we already have, these impromptu media boards that are wanting to work on projects that were active towards the end of last year, but haven't done anything just because we've been on break. That is something we should keep in mind. I think we already have vestigial structures for that we haven't even properly used yet. Mitch.
I just want to say that this whole thing sounds like it could be a great tool, not just for getting the pirate word out, but I think that this would be a great tool for getting people involved with the pirate party. If you had let me put it like this: the Massachusetts Pirate Party was putting forward, little news blurbs to the website, and we were just kind of getting updates on what the Massachusetts Pirates said on the news. If we just ask every PNC member, and not even if you're a PNC member, if you're forming a party like our friends in West Virginia, who, if they wanted to submit a news article they think is important, by all means you could submit it. When we have every news article, their opinion on why they submitted it, the pirate opinion on this piece of news, whatever they want to, portray it as, I could easily, I'll narrate that, upload that as a YouTube short, as a TikTok, wherever it goes. And then when we have the podcast, we could talk about each news article, and each state then can break it down, give their opinion. And we can invite, it doesn't have to be the people that gave their opinion. Not every PNC member needs to show up. It's just whoever wants to show up to the podcast and wants to give their opinion that day, who wants to sit down and discuss, say, oh, you know what? There was actually a really good story in there. I want to sit down and talk about it. If they want to talk about every story, they can. If they want to dip out after another story, they can too, but we'll give them the option. It feels like a great way to say, hey, if you guys want to appear on the Pirate Party podcast and talk on behalf of your state and give your opinion, it might be a good way to get people involved. Obviously, we wouldn't let everyone willy-nilly. You couldn't join the Discord one day and then the same day do the Pirate Party podcast. There have to be some type of vetting process, obviously, but this feels like a good way to kind of get people more involved with the party. In a sense, people might be excited to get involved if you have the ability to talk about it, especially if it's a good podcast. It's a good listen.
All right, thank you, Mitch. Yari?
Two things. Mitch, I just want to clarify what you're talking about briefly. So it sounds like what you're suggesting is these blurbs that people submit, and then you are volunteering to narrate and then post them as videos.
So if every PNC member every week submitted a news article with their opinion on it, like why they chose the article or what's the pirate stance on, what happened, I could put together a short little 60-second voiceover just talking about it, and find public domain photos, just sideshows, clips, something real. It doesn't have to be like real fancy put together. It's just something that'll, go up, something that's content, something that people, and then it's not only content, but it's content that it's on our website. It's the same content that's on our website. And then you can, the same thoughts that you heard that week, you can hear broken down in the podcast later that week or day, whenever it happens. But the shorts would be autonomous from the podcast. The content of both houses would be from the same source.
Sorry, before Joe jumps in, can I finish my second point?
Yes.
I think that's really useful also because that's less work and sort of the reduplication, right? We get maybe the podcast host or together the podcast host and whoever's writing some stuff or maybe it's just the people who are writing some stuff for the States pick a couple news sources, and then the podcast host picks up on those and then runs with them for the podcast, and that way there's less work being done. That's great. That's awesome. What I was going to say though is I love that. Thank you for volunteering. I can either volunteer my time as if we have extra people to do the editing for the podcast or the writing for some of the blurbs. I would be happy to host a podcast so long as it is not next week. But after that, however, I could also do the blurb writing instead. And that could happen next week. That is my volunteering.
Okay, thank you, Yuri. We are now on to Joe. Actually, I'm so sorry, Joe. I have to interrupt you. I do want us to keep in mind that we are technically only halfway through reports. I believe we don't have anything else on the agenda, but at some point we will need to just ensure that no officers have to report. But I will let this continue as it is. Joe.
I'd be happy with the help in organizing it, though not necessarily taking it over or leading it per se. But I'd be happy to put in my help as well as an additional body.
Is there
more in getting it all set up, making sure there's another person who can live stream and make it actually happen and stream, and another hand on deck.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And again, I do just want to stress, we do still have that Twitch project that people have been very enthusiastic about. And, we still, doing more shorts and TikToks eventually is a given. So I do just want to make sure that any plans we make is congruent and fits in with other plans we have, and that we get the right people on board, and that, it just doesn't feel like, us, fat cats at the top keep revising a plan and never let the people on the ground sort of do what they're passionate about. That's my only concern. Yard?
I don't think we're the fat cats at the top, though. But I think the what am I trying to say? It is important that we get something done, right? It's important that we do something, right? The Twitch thing was proposed, and it's great, and it's fantastic. Twitch streaming for gaming, proposed, great, fantastic. I would love for it to happen. There were about 4 or 5 conversations about it, and then dropped, never happened, right? So yeah, those conversations are still there, but in my mind, that is dead. It is just dead, right? This conversation is happening right now, and we have a viable plan for, at the very least, maybe not the podcast, right? I mean, there's a viable plan for it, but there's no volunteers. From what I'm hearing, there's no volunteers to edit it. So what I'm hearing right now is a solid plan. Mitch is volunteering to voiceover and edit. Thank you for that, by the way. Voiceover and edit to put up these little blurbs. And I am volunteering to write them. Or at least
I am volunteering to make sure the streaming part of it's going to make sure we source it and code it and get it online and record it.
So John can work on getting that up, and that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing done. So I think we're good. I think we could probably check out and ask people on the Discord for additional help should we need it, and we probably will. But that's done. That's a whole thing. So I think in my mind, ignore Twitch. That's my take.
Okay. You have been heard. I think I'm still...
To be clear.
I do think there is maybe something about the way that we're designing these media projects that lend themselves to the way they've been going, and I do think that it feels weird at the same time we're trying to start, that sort of media committee where we want the people who are enthusiastic about this out of our everyday volunteers to take the reins of these sorts of things. And I don't know, maybe I want to revise my previous point a little bit. If handing them a project and having a few conversations about it hasn't worked, then maybe we need to revise our strategy. Maybe this one won't fare any better. I mean, time will tell. If it does fare well, then I'll be very happy about that. But I am worried that maybe we just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
I don't think that'll happen with this.
Okay. And then I will let you finish the rest of your point.
And what I would say with this is because I'm also volunteering to be part of this also. I just don't want to be the person, that is responsible for the whole project. We need contributors. We need people that are willing to be guests and talk about these things. I mean, it can be a host and 2 or 3 people, and that's all that's all we need. And that's the 3 pirates, right? That's 3 pirates. So
you're here.
And honestly, this with the Twitch, if somebody's waiting for somebody else to do something, I mean, the rest of us here that we kick ideas to people, they need to pick it up. We gotta ask our volunteers to just pick it up. If it's a good idea that they want to do it. I don't want to hold back anybody that's doing the Twitch thing. If they want to do the Twitch thing, do the Twitch thing. I'm a little more interested in participating in this because I think this will get us more FaceTime with people that are looking at politics rather than gaming. While gaming is not a bad thing to do, I think this is going to get us more of the people that we're looking for right now.
Understood. I think Mitch is next.
I just wanted to say that the important thing with this is that the TikTok, YouTube short clips of the newsreels can be uploaded right away. They do not need to be attached to a podcast. We don't need the podcast to be ready right away. We can plan for this podcast. We don't have to make it like, all right, let's plan for this, get it rushed out here. If we said, let's make sure we have every news article for the week submitted to Mitch by Thursday, and Mitch and Yari by Thursday. So then, Yari, if you said you're willing to write the blog post for the website, when you have the blog post written, I would do the narration, and by Friday, the website can have the blog post, and I could have your video for the TikTok and the YouTube, and we can have a weekly pirate roundup every Friday, which we could post it, and we could tweet about it, post it. Here's the video. Here's the article. You know, we could post the video to the article. We don't need to have everything we're talking about ready. The things that we can do right away, we should implement right away. Because I think that the more people know about us, the more people get eyes and ears on us, the better it is for us, the better it is for the movement, the better it is for the pirate ideology and the pirate spirit.
Understood. Yari, you're next.
Wholeheartedly agreed. I think this is great. I think, I don't even think this needs to be a motion. I think what I'm going to do is just start a, I don't know, maybe I think even just a thread on Discord. Because I think it shouldn't be, because I think it should have the chance to involve other people on the Discord so that it is public. So it's going to be a thread on Discord. So I'm going to go ahead and start that just after the end of our meeting. I'm going to make a note of that right now. And then that way we can get started having a conversation about this and figuring out exactly who's doing what and how that's happening. And we'll make things happen. We even already volunteered for roles today, so I'll remind people of what we volunteered for.
All right, Drew.
I think there's two things real quick. One is I like the idea, Yari, of you putting something in Discord for this, but if you could make like a sub or something to that in that Discord where we can just post links, like, because there's times when I'm just on my phone, right, and I'm just, oh my god, this article, I gotta remember this article. Like, so if we have somewhere that we can just pop over to Discord and just paste the link in that we can send it to, just so that that's where it goes. That, I think that would be awesome. And I think this, I've been thinking about trying to get together maybe just a list of articles, things that are more core to the pirate politics, like copyright and patent type stuff that's like really obviously up our alley, that is, where there's bad examples of how everything is getting screwed up by those things. So I'd like to have a place where I can just be like, here, check this link. I want to save this link so I can come back later. And right now I don't really have a centralized place to do that, but that would be good. And we can tell everybody to just send those things to that spot.
Okay, thank you. Was it Joe or Drew first? Or sorry, Joe or Mitch? Does anybody know?
I believe it was my turn next.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Oh, no, you can go first, and then I will interrupt before Mitch.
Yeah, just real quick. Why don't we call it the Cannon Blast or the News Blast? Real simple, unless you guys have a better idea.
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Just calling it simple, like new pirate news or News Blast or Cannon Blast or something a little catchy, but people know exactly what it is.
Sea shanties.
You wanted to name like Project 0.0 Sea Shanties.
I don't know if I'd use that name for this one. I like the Cannon Blast a little bit better than the Sea Shanties in this scenario, personally. But Joe, you are right. It should have better. I mean, Weekly Pirate Roundup or whatever I said, like, that's just a working title. If you have a better title, if someone gives me a title that makes me go, that rules, I will happily advocate for that title.
So
I mean, I think it's just the canon.
I know there's like 7 people watching live, and I'm sure there's gonna be more watching after the fact. Hey, bring your time. I'm ready.
You know,
Like,
I want
to hear it.
What do our viewers say? Sorry for interrupting, but yes, what do our viewers say?
Digging the pirate cannon, actually.
Yeah, it's just the canon. Yeah, it's the pirate canon. Yeah,
The cannon.
the canon. Yeah.
Funny stuff going on there with
Like
the
that.
Hobbit too. You know, like
like
the
that.
literary canon. Or, you know, it's funny. It's funny. There's stuff we could do with that.
Yari wins so far.
That's a good one. I like that.
All right, can we move on?
Yes. Something I will say though is that if we're gonna do the shorts, if we're gonna do the TikToks, I've been sitting on this for a year. Can someone just please make a motion to give me the executive power to just make the TikTok official? The one that I've been sitting on for a year. Like, can we just do that?
Motion to make the TikTok official.
Second.
All right, discussion and debate, Mitch.
Just a question. What's the TikTok handle?
I think
If
it's US.
Pirates US.
Yeah.
We had a problem with that with the Instagram. I just
It is not pirate sauce, I promise.
okay.
Any other discussion or debate that isn't an elaborate Among Us joke?
Oh, I just got that. That's good. Call the question.
Excellent. I'm just going to call it that. All in favor of making the TikTok official and ending my year-long suffering. Drew.
Just for
Drew,
you, AJ.
Thank you. Drew, Pennsylvania, same thing. Massachusetts.
Aye.
Illinois.
Aye.
California.
Aye. No more suffering for AJ.
Unanimously decided after all this time, the TikTok is now an official part of our media. You know what? Even before we get this project off the ground, we should just record a few videos and get that baby out there into the world.
We can, yeah.
I think it would be good.
Let's finish the meeting first.
Yeah, no. Yeah. After we finish the meeting, I don't think we're not supposed to pick right now and start recording TikTok videos.
I mean, we could.
I could. I mean, you know, the Zoomer energy within me is very strong. I could pull it off. But let's finish the meeting. Mitch, you would like to speak?
No, I was. You're good. You're good. What you just said.
Okay. Honestly, if we were following a strict version of Robert's rules, the past 30 minutes, 40 at this point, would all be out of order. I don't care. I don't think anyone's going to challenge me on that. We would like to check in with our officers. Mitch, since you have your hand raised, I'm going to go ahead and ask you about Swarm Care, and anything else you want to say would be appreciated.
Sure. So with Swarm Care, we had a individual from Nebraska reach out to us on a week ago. Unfortunately, I have not heard back from them. I haven't seen them join the Discord. I haven't seen them reply to the email. So I may take that upon myself to send one more email, just see if I can get a hold of them. AJ, if you wish to as well, I believe he got sent to the same blurb as. So all of PNC should have received his email. But otherwise, I'm just going to send him a second one. Hopefully, he'll get it. Otherwise, the mayoral race in Chicago is coming up, and we have taken it upon ourselves to look over different candidates who are running for mayor and looked at who's good, who's not. We got down to a list of about 3.5. 3.5 being, Chuy Garcia doesn't have a platform, so we really can't say he's good. But that's beside the point. I'm taking upon myself to volunteer for one of the mayoral campaigns. So I have a meeting tomorrow with the Sawyer campaign. We'll find out how that works out. And then we'll see if how things look from there. I think Chicago has an interesting race coming up. Chicago is it's weird. We're not gonna want any real change anytime soon, but we want something different. So, Chicago.
Mitch, do you bring that up to ask about because the ILPP is gonna like endorse a candidate?
No. Nationals, I'm not asking for any national endorsement, but on the state and Chicagoland level, there is work with the candidates. If Chicagoland ends up endorsing a candidate for sure, we'll let you know. And Chicagoland will likely put out the list of our endorsements or approved candidates. However, we're probably gonna go with our approved candidates as kind of also a push towards like approval or ranked choice, just like who we approve of. But ultimately, we're not. I do not bring this up to seek the national party's endorsement, nor unless there's a runoff and our guy's in it, then I may ask. But I don't think it's the business of the national party to endorse a candidate.
Before we go to Joe, Mitch, I honestly think in some ways you should ask if there's any candidates that the ILPP is going to get super excited about, if there even are any in the mayoral race. I don't know anything about the Chicago mayoral race, but if if there is any candidate that the whole ILPP likes and they really like and they're going to contribute to their campaign or whatever, then yeah, we should make that one of our official endorsements. We should generate buzz about that, especially while the ILPP is still lacking in pirate candidates or, the candidates from major party, that are, or pirate candidates disguised as Democratic candidates or whatever route you're going to go. I mean, if you have an endorsement, we should absolutely make a big deal out of that. That's all I'm going to say. Joe.
I was going to say everything that you just said, Wednesday, but plus one small thing. If there's a candidate that you're willing to endorse, then see if you can volunteer for them in order to understand the whole process and learn from it, so that way when you hit the ground running, you know exactly what to expect and what to do. Volunteer. This is like a perfect opportunity to get in there and shamelessly copy paste.
Agreed. No, I fully agreed. Helping out the LP Indiana over the past summer with some of their campaigns has been, it's contributed for a solid 20 to 30% of my entire political experience. So helping out with other people's campaigns is a great thing. I fully endorse that. Anything else said about Swarm Care?
I mean, AJ, you and I briefly had discussions about state formation, but I don't think that's anything worth discussing. That was just a thought experiment more than anything. Because if that's not worth discussing, then
we might want to keep that in our back pocket for later. Secretary.
I am intrigued. Okay, I will ask you both about that at a later time, I guess, or maybe you'll bring it up. Cool. I basically did nothing over break because I was busy with other things. But here's my shtick. I realized that I should do Wikipedia trainings or not Wikipedia, Wikimedia, U.S. Pirates Wiki trainings for folks so that I can get help with things, and also so that people can edit stuff, just so that people have that tool in their power, so that the people are empowered, the people of the party. That is my next goal that I am going to do soon. Date to be determined, because this is the first week of school for me, starting tomorrow. So, but yeah, that's that. And also, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of December, but a reminder that if anyone needs wiki accounts for state stuff, or if anyone needs email stuff figured out, like they aren't on the email lists, or you need an extra person added to your email list for the state stuff, for state parties, please let me know. That is now both of those things a very, very easy thing for me to do. Takes about a minute.
All right, thank you. Treasury.
We just have to wrap up the year-end stuff for the last quarter, which has to be done by the end of this week. So I will get that done. We didn't really have any major expenditures, and we had a couple donations. So it's we worked out a solution with IT for me to be able to just go in and pull the numbers I need and get that done. So it's actually not that big of a process. I just have to sit down and do it. So appreciate everything IT does.
All right, thank you so much. I think that's, except for the chair, all of the reports. I mean, I guess since Drew's kind of out here alone, I'll let him talk about Pennsylvania if he wants to.
Yeah, actually, that's what I put my hand up for. I am planning on doing, probably in March, doing a Pennsylvania specific run for office tutorial here online. I have most of it already completed from my previous experience. So I'm planning on doing it. So it'll be Pennsylvania specific. But Yari, did we ever figure out how we can stream to 2 places at once? Did we figure that out?
Yes, we did.
Okay. If there is interest, and the USPP would like to also host the stream, if we could do that, I mean, we can talk about this later, but I just want to throw it out there that it can be, there's no reason it has to be just a Pennsylvania thing. I mean, it's going to be talking about the law. The specifics are going to be specific to Pennsylvania, but there's going to be a lot of other discussion that can benefit other local candidates. So, and there's also going to be some generalizations that'll be put in there that could help probably some other states. So anyways, just throwing it out there that I can let you guys know when we schedule that, and we can, if you guys want to also share it, we can figure out how to do the stream. So
to be clear, you're suggesting that the stream could be on both of our channels, or you're suggesting okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's easy. That's actually quite easy.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. All I'm going to say about the chair over the past few weeks is that, like Yari, I've been taking a bit of a break. I haven't really been doing anything other than make a few tweets people really liked. Other than that, I can't think of anything. I mean, Indiana is still kind of in a weird position, but it looks like that's about to change. We're going to try and do more stuff on the college campuses, and I'm really excited about that. Other than that, I'm just really excited to get back to pirate stuff.
Getting the pirate stuff in. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean,
is there any further discussion or debate on any of these reports? Since
I have some things I would submit for new business, but it is time. So motion to adjourn.
All right. Motion to adjourn on the table.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Everybody wants to leave. I'm going to let you all leave. This meeting has now been adjourned at 10:04 p.m. Eastern Time. Get out of here.
Feel better, Mitch.
Vote pirate.
I hope you feel better, Mitch.
uspirates.org. That is uspirates.org. Go to our website. Sign up. Join our Discord. Talk to us. Email us. Our emails are also on the website. There are a lot of ways you can contact us that are on the website. So find one and talk to us. That's all I'm going to say. I'm running out of breath. Do that. Bye.
Grow a mustache.